Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Wednesday, January 12th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Archives top of the page, eye candy right along the bottom here. We always have great stuff in the archives, great television history. Not only stuff just involving me, but just great moments in television history that we have archived for you. You know, for a while there, back in the 80s and 90s, I had 9 VCRs. And they were always going recording something, and I held on to all of those videotapes, and some of them got damaged along the way, you know, when I moved, and we had a flood or two in the basement, and we lost some stuff. But I probably still have about 85% of the stuff that I recorded. You know, I always said to myself, I don't know why this stuff is going to be worth anything someday, but I'm just going to hold on to it. It's not that, you know, just shove it in the basement or in the garage, and you forget about it. Well, here we are in the age of digital media and websites and the internet and everything like that, and so we have a lot of really cool stuff up there. It's worth punching around a little bit in the Wayback Machine and, you know, just other stuff that we have in the archive. So there you go. We have a busy day today. By the time you are watching this, we will probably have concluded our live show at O'Leary's restaurant down on South Lindbergh, where it was ground zero a couple of weeks ago, the New Year's Eve tornado. We're hoping to have John Goodman on the air today. As I said, by the time you're watching this, all of this stuff will have transpired, but we carry highlights of memorable moments on our show, the Showgram, which is on from 10 in the morning until 1, along with Trish Gazelle on the Big 550 KTRS. So if you missed something, you can always go back and listen there. We're also encouraging people to download on their smartphones the application called TuneIn. TuneIn, okay? Because there you can get about 40,000 radio stations from around the world, including the Big 550 KTRS, and there's also a 2-hour record function, so you can sort of make your own podcasts. There's also something called Wonder Radio, Wonder with a U, Wonder Radio, and that doesn't have the record function, but that also does a lot of the same stuff. Anyhow, we're going down there because they're doing a fundraiser for the victims of the tornado at O'Leary's this evening at 5:30, and we're just down there today to sort of help out, show our support, and, you know, should be a good show, so we're hoping to have a little fun. Went computer shopping yesterday, and I got a laptop that I've had for about 5 years now, and the thing is either on its last legs or needs some serious upkeep, and it erased all my contacts the other day. So if you're watching this and you're a friend of mine and you're saying, gosh, how come the son of a bitch hasn't called me? Well, there's the reason why. I don't have anybody's phone number anymore. So I got somebody, we pulled out the old hard drive and put a new hard drive in, and I got somebody trying to rescue some of the stuff with some software for the old hard drive. Maybe they can find all my old contacts. I ain't counting on it, folks. So got myself a new computer, and I will introduce you to it tomorrow because it's really something. And again, my friend Everett always says, you know, because you start saying to yourself, okay, here we are, you know, going to do this every, you know, couple of years. When I say couple, hopefully not more than every 5 or 6 years for you, certainly for me, you know, where you have to buy a computer, and you always think to yourself, I don't know, should I get a laptop or should I get a desktop? And my friend Everett always answers that question the same way. He says, always get a laptop. And I say, why? He says, because they're much easier to throw. So there you go. Got a Facebook message yesterday from Ron Yaros. Okay, now Ron was the Channel 2 weather forecaster back in the 1980s, and we used to have a lot of fun with Ron because he just made an easy target for some reason. But the truth of the matter is, I always liked Ron a real lot, and he was a really nice guy, and we even did some live shots together from the VP Fair. And I tried to make it clear to Ron all the time that I was just teasing him just to have some fun with some guy who was on TV. I was actually jealous because, as you know, I've always wanted to be on television doing the weather. So hadn't seen or heard from Ron in, 20 years? And I was talking about him on the air yesterday morning, and apparently a lot of his friends either texted him, emailed him, or Facebooked him and said, JC's talking about you. Ron is the guy who invented Weather School and made a lot of money on it, and now he sounds very, very happy and content. He's living in Maryland and teaching weather and media and stuff like that at the University of Maryland, and seems very happy, and we had a nice exchange last night. Can't be happier for Ron. He was a guy who was a real visionary, real bright guy who just figured out, hey, you know, this television weather stuff on a local level stinks. I got to do something else. So he invented this Weather School thing, which is used on television stations not only in this country, but I'm told around the world. And he's doing well. And thank you, Ron. Great to hear from you. Back to the O'Leary's broadcast and the New Year's Eve tornado. This is an amazing story, and I double-checked it because it just sounds like a load of crap. And I double-checked it, and it's legit, and it comes out of Wadena, Minnesota. A Minnesota woman says her new baby was named Skylar to note the time last summer when she and her unborn daughter were hit by a flying cow during a tornado. Now, if you remember the movie Twister, which was written by a guy here in St. Louis, and then he and Michael Crichton got into a big, argument about it because the guy said he wrote it, and Michael Crichton says I wrote it, and Michael Crichton obviously wrote the screenplay that was used in the movie, but the guy here in St. Louis said, hey, that was my story, and so they sued. The guy here in St. Louis lost. He tried to shake Michael Crichton's hand after the trial, and Michael Crichton just basically turned and walked away on him, and I interviewed Michael Crichton about that, about something else. I forget what it was. There was some other movie that I interviewed Michael Crichton for out in Los Angeles, and I asked him about this thing, and Crichton was like, look, I'm not going to have a guy sue me, especially sue me. It cost me a lot of money, and I thought that it was a frivolous lawsuit, and he lost. I'm not going to shake the guy's hand, so, I guess that's his decision. But anyhow, it was depicted in the movie Twister where, cows were flying through the air. So this Skylar Schwab was not only the first baby born in Wadena this year, but can also be considered the youngest survivor of the Twister that hit the town in June. And so these people got hit by a flying cow. The mother was pregnant at the time. She thought she was going to lose the baby. Baby's doing fine, 7 pounds, 9 ounces. And so there you go. One of those stories that's hard to believe. Are people watching football? Yep, they are. More than 33 million people watched Saturday night's playoff game between the Jets and the Colts. And if you look at the top 5 shows for last week, 4 of the 5 are NFL games or pregame or postgame shows. People are going football crazy. And by the way, this amazing run by Marshawn Lynch, the insane touchdown thing where he stiff arms the guy at the end of the run and goes into the touchdown, the reaction of Seattle Seahawks fans was so dramatic, not only at the stadium, but apparently people jumping up and down all over the place. I checked on this too. This thing actually showed up as a little blip on the seismograph. The thing that measures earthquakes? People were jumping up and down. I wouldn't do that in Seattle if I were you. You're too close to the San Andreas Fault. Shelley Wright, country and western singer, who came out about, I guess it was maybe 6 months ago. Her record sales, she was like really hot stuff, this Shelley Wright. And a cute girl, by the way. But she came out and she said, yeah, I swing the other way. Her record sales have been cut in half. And she's been getting death threats and hate mail. So for all of this talk there always is about country music, being so wonderful and wholesome and everything like that, there's your country music for you. According to a British study, the buttons on an ATM, and by the way, this goes under the heading of one more thing to worry about, the buttons on an ATM are just as dirty as a public toilet. Scientists swabbed ATM keys and toilets, good gig by the way, and found the same bacteria on both. Have a nice day. All right, birthdays today. I always laugh about this because Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh were born on the same date. This is amazing to me. Howard Stern 57 today, Rush Limbaugh 60. And by the way, every time somebody starts yelling about, JC's washed up, he's old, he's losing his hair. No, I'm not losing my hair, I've lost my hair. Okay, so get that right. But I'm the same age as Howard Stern. So, nobody ever talks about Howard because he wears really beautiful little hair extensions and leather jackets and dyes his hair and all that sort of stuff. And on a very, very sad note, personally, and for a lot of St. Louis Blues fans, it was 11 years ago today that the Monday Night Miracle star, Doug Wickenheiser, hold it, 11? 11 or 12? It was 1999, so there you go. But it was Doug Wickenheiser passed away on this date back in 1999. Doug was a wonderful guy. In addition to supplying one of the biggest thrills for St. Louis Blues hockey fans in this town, the Monday Night Miracle, when he got that goal against the Calgary Flames. Doug was a funny guy. He was just full of the devil. He and his girlfriend at the time used to just terrorize me. We were neighbors in Baldwin over near Big Bend and Hannah Road in the subdivision there. And Doug lived right around the corner from me. And, I'd be driving home like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday or Saturday night, coming back from some goofy date or something. And I'd be going down this old lonely road, Big Bend, in the middle of the night, and there'd be 2 taillights on my bumper. And I was scared to death, and I start speeding up, and they start speeding up, and I pull into the subdivision, and they pull into the subdivision, and I come hauling around the corner, and I pull up in my driveway. The car pulls up in my driveway. It's Doug Wickenheiser. He was nuts. He I used to get those pay-per-view fights. They'd charge you like, $40 or $50 for a Tyson fight or Leon Spinks or something like that. And Doug would bring over a fruit tray or a veggie tray or something. We would sit there and watch the fights with a couple of our buddies. And Doug got into a little bit of the broadcasting business, the station I'm on now. It used to be called KUSA, and then KSDAM before it went over to KTRS. And Doug got into a little broadcasting too, and he got so sick there for a while, and then thought he had beaten the cancer, and then it came back, and then it got him, but he was really, really sick for a long time. And the guy didn't complain, and it was just one of those things that you just watch and you say, how can a guy be like this? He just seemed too good to be true, and maybe he was. But Doug Wickenheiser died on this date back in 1999, and I still think about him all the time. He was a great guy. On this date in 1971, a TV show that, if they tried to put it on the air today, would never make it. All in the Family premiered on CBS on this date in 1971. And there you go, back to the 90s. The O.J. Simpson trial began in Los Angeles on this date in 1995. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. There's a lot of stuff on the internet of people streaking, but this one is cool. And if you're squeamish about seeing nudity, particularly male nudity, this thing is going on at night, and it's a little blurry, so you don't really see anything. You can see definitely the guy is naked, but you don't really see the guy's junk or anything like that. But anyhow, this guy tries to run naked at night onto a tennis court where 2 people are playing tennis. What he apparently did not know was that there was the tennis court was completely surrounded by plexiglass. That's all I'll tell you. But go take a look at this because it is freaking hilarious. This guy just... but you got to see it. JC's Eye Candy today. And you can go back and look at the archives of Eye Candy because they go back quite a while. All right, that's it. The Daily Dose for Wednesday, January 12th, 2011. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. O'Leary's tonight. Fundraiser. If you're in the neighborhood, if you can make it, go on down there and try to help. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.